we move into the next part of the story, which is talking about the passenger railways. And the bit of the railway that, as I've said, from a mode share perspective is very small, but as a bit like for the intermodal, there are opportunities abound, I think. And we're going to talk about the cities to start with, and we're going to talk about Brisbane off the bat. Chris, there's plenty to talk about here, so we're going to whiz through. We don't want to. There's an episode for each of these projects, let alone each of these cities. So it's going to be a fair canter, but just a very brief kind of overview of what the stories are in the kind of the major metropolitan areas across Australia, really.
Yeah, well, Australia, despite a lot of the preconceptions, is a country of cities. Most of us live in quite large cities, and those cities have comparatively good, by world standards, passenger rail networks, short to medium distance passenger rail networks. They're virtually all electrified. In fact, I calculated that about 96% of passenger journeys in Australia are behind electric tracks.
Oh, that's a very nice fact. Yeah, that's very nice.
And 100% of our passenger trains of all types are air conditioned.
Yeah.
And almost all, we have about 1,100 and something stations, and only you could count on two hands the number that don't have full level boarding access.
Again, extremely useful. Yeah.
We do have the heritage from Britain of the high platforms, but not the half-assed British platforms. I'm talking full level platform. Not so much Brisbane, actually. Brisbane's a little bit lower, but we're pretty good on those sort of. We're lucky because most stations are at ground level, of course. So there are good things about our passenger networks, and in Brisbane is it's a city of about with the Gold Coast of the southeast and the Sunshine Coast of the northeast. It's a fast-growing subtropical city, which is will be heading towards 4 million one day population. It's the host of the 2032 Olympic Games, which is going to spur some development, no doubt.
Absolutely.
It has a passenger rail network shown there, which is taken from my website, railmaps.com.au. Go view. So what you're looking at there are lines that radiate out from central Brisbane, north, south, east. It's very radial, as you can see. And each of those lines has either a 15-minute interval or a 30-minute interval service to each of those destinations, with one little exception off the far west, which is once per hour. So, and down to the Gold Coast, you've got the Gold Coast Light Rail on the far southeast there. So broadly speaking, this has been a very fast-growing city. It does have a unique problem in Australia in that the governance is divided between the state government and the city council. The city of Brisbane is the most populous city in municipal terms, and it runs the bus network, and they run it in competition to the train.
Yeah. Whoops.
And they have they have this thing called the Metro, which I'm not going to get into, which is actually an electric bus. And so Brisbane has more problems than most other cities, and its patronage is comparatively low as a result. Not so much lower, but whatever you do, don't put your buses in competition.
No,
they will deny it.
Rex, it's like number one thing is the urban transport has to be fully integrated, because buses are our friends and allies, and they beautifully complement the rail system and should never be in competition with it. Yeah, Newcastle, but the UK one is the perfect example of that. When you saw the difference, the time where Metro built up as a system to complement the buses, and buses fed the Metro, and then that was torn to shreds after bus deregulation, and then the buses came into the city centre and broke everything, and it just ruined that entire system, and patronage of the overall system went down for quite a sizable chunk of time after that. So,
well, I will say they do have integrated ticketing, so
which is good. At least you can use
the one card, and in fact they have a flat 50-cent fare. Would you believe, from in that wide area, which was bipartisan political at the last Queensland election. So that is now, it's going to be interesting. And it has led to about a 12% increase in patronage since they introduced that about 6 months ago. Still early, but that's a fairly radical experiment.
It is, yeah. It's almost one of the situations where you've reduced it to 50 cents. Yeah. In terms of the income, is it maybe worth just not having anything at that point? Because there's a bit of a 50 cents is tokenistic, and at that point, it's like, well, is that paying for the infrastructure to just tick it, just maybe get rid of it? I'm not 100% convinced on that. Well, that's a fantastic initiative anyway. It's yeah. I'll be very interested to read the papers off the back of that and to see what happens with the trial.
Well, keep an eye out for it because we'll see. Yeah. Early indications are positive. Anyway.
Yep.
There's a number of projects been occurring over there. This network was electrified only in the late 70s. By the way, it was all diesel rail cars before that, and it's been extended a lot since then. I think we've got a list of projects. I think have we?
Yeah, it's not on. No, read through them. I'll point them with my arrow.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes. Well, we had the Springfield line, which is this blue one to the southwest there. That was newly built in 2013. So it was a new branch to a new development area there. There's the Redcliffe line, the other end of the light blue one up the northeast. So you can see that came in 2016. So you can see you've got a whole new through city line there.
Yes.
Gold Coast Light Rail down the bottom right. You spoke about that before. That opened in first stage 2014, extended to connect with the railway, the yellow line there in 2017, and stage 3, which is in the pinkish bit down the bottom in 2026. That's been a fantastic success. Gold Coast is a linear city. It's not my favourite place. It's a bit like Las Vegas or whatever. But I tell you what, but I got to say, the light rail has been, in my opinion, one of the most fantastic things that's ever happened to that place, and it's exceeded expectations in terms of patronage. And it's possible even there might be a 4th stage which takes that line further down to the airport and even across the state border into New South Wales.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah. Which we'll see how that goes. There's no guarantee of that, but that stage 3 will be open next year. Then the big one is Cross River Rail, which is a whole
of course,
city, which is opening in 2026. That's that light lilac-y colour thing there, which will take trains from the Gold Coast, run them through new stations in the city, under Roma Street Station there, and up and out. And I think it will through work with the airport, which is the yellow line, or well, actually they haven't actually. I don't think they've actually announced exactly what the operating patterns are going to be. But it may also be up on the green line up to Nambour, way up and out there. So have an interurban operation through there.
Yeah,
and that's I don't know what that distance. It's a long distance.
Yeah.
And then also what you can't see here, it's not even on my map yet, is a thing called the Sunshine Coast Railway, which will branch off about at the top and head east towards the coast, and that is planned for about 2032 when the Olympics are there, and that will connect the Sunshine Coast, which is Australia's largest population centre that does not and has never had any railway connection. There's possibly going to have Olympic events there, but of course that's not the right reason to build that. It is a major city in its own right, so that will be a major project, which they're going to have to get their skates on to get that.
I was going to say, talking about major project, urban area, that's but good, and it hopefully a spur for both literally and metaphorically for expanding a network for that urban area, because it's not just a linear system. It's not linear in the same way the Gold Coast is. If my geography of that area is correct, it's much more of a sprawling, hub and spoke urban area without any rail.
It's more low rise. They're looking at creating a bus rapid transit from the railhead to serve the various towns, Caloundra and Maroochydore and other places along there. But it will probably end up growing even further to end up being more like the Gold Coast, I imagine, in years future.